Hey everyone, and welcome back to my Baldur's Gate Saga Completionist playthrough with SCS. And you know, since the last episode was a little bit more relaxed and laid back, with some cutscenes and conversations and whatnot, let's start out this one with a bang. And we're going to do a certain encounter that we shouldn't really be doing at this point in the game, but I kind of feel like it. Let's have some fun. First we're going to go inside this building so we can pre-buff, and we are going to pretty extensively pre-buff when it comes to our defensive options. Because the fight that is about to happen is going to be against a pretty high-level party. So we're going to buff up Eri with her stone skins. Jan already has stone skins, but we're going to add mirror images to the mix. And Jaheira is going to apply iron skins. Senashira is going to buff up with everything she has. And Kiranai is going to get this potion of invulnerability and drink that. Now Eri is also going to apply some clerical buffs like this AoE protection from evil. We will not need remove fear on this fight, I think, but we might also chant up and bless up from Jaheira. And I think this is going to be pretty much it, I think. Basically why I'm, for example, buffing Jan with both stone skins and mirror images is that there's going to be a mage that is surely going to have some melts, minute meteors, and these projectiles deal not only physical damage but also fire damage, and I don't want any spells of ours to be interrupted. So for example, if a minute meteor hit Jan with only stone skins, the physical portion of the projectile would be eaten by stone skin, but the fire damage could still go through, would still go through, and could interrupt Jan's spell. So we don't want that to happen. We are also going to haste. And wait a couple of seconds so all of our rounds can end, so that we can immediately cast upon entering this building, this one here. Alright. So here we have a party of 4 guys, Valeria, Falahar, Pitre, and Rukandros. And they are a pretty high-level party, pretty dangerous at this stage of the game, but to the best of my knowledge, I don't think there is any reference to them in the game. There's no note or no like conversation option or any kind of explanation on who they're supposed to be, why they are here, or why they are immediately hostile towards us, but there doesn't have to be. It's just a cool encounter. So Valeria and Falahar over here, they are both level 16 fighters. Valeria is pretty inconsequential. She throws some darts from up there, and once she runs out of them or we like reposition, she has to go all the way around to switch to her melee. She is really the least dangerous of them all. Falahar, on the other hand, can be a pretty dangerous fighter. He can dish out some damage, so we will want to get rid of him pretty quickly. Pitre is a level 12 cleric, and that means he has access to level 6 spells, and he's going to be pretty dangerous because of that. He's going to be have some new pre-buffs that we haven't seen before. And Rukandros is a level 12 mage. That also means he has access to level 6 spells, and he's going to be our prime target. But we of course will want to get rid of immediately. So, what we're going to do here, Eri and Jan are going to reposition to the corner. Kiranai is going to activate her Detect Illusion and dispel Drakandros, because his pre-buffs are going to be pretty extensive, and we can bet on him having improved invisibility and mirror images. Senashira is going to position here so that she can unleash a little Aganazar Scorcher on Falahar, so that both Falahar and Pitre can receive the damage from that. And hopefully we can interrupt Pitre's spell. Jaheira is going to immediately start casting Insect Plague on Pitre. Minsk is going to reposition, I think, a little bit here for now, to discourage Drakandros of like running away up there. And I hope that's going to work, because I want to catch both Pitre and Drakandros with that Insect Plague. So we'll see how that is going to go. And I think that's pretty much everyone taken care of right now. Alright, so their pre-buffs trigger. Okay, Dracandros is still standing in here, and his first spell is Protection from Magical Weapons, which is a level 6 protection spell that we're going to see much more often in Baldur's Gate 2, but we are prepared for that kind of thing, because we have plenty of non-magical weapons at our disposal, either because we just don't have anything better, or because we've been saving some non-magical weapons for just that occasion. So Minsk is going to switch to his normal two-handed sword. We also have these normal thrown daggers. Hopefully Kiranai can dispel his... these pre-buffs are a little bit mixed together, but the mage Dracandros does have mirror images and improved invisibility, and all of that is going to be dispelled by Kiranai's Detect Illusion. And Pitre also has Physical Mirror, which is a level 6 spell that Jaheira also has at her disposal, and it basically just reflects different types of missiles sent at the caster, and that of course includes like bow shots, crossbow shots, thrown daggers, but also some spells, like for example Melf's Acid Arrow is going to be reflected by that. So Jan can't really do much against Pitre, so I think we're just going to add some damage onto Falahar. Let's have that Acid Arrow ticking, and then later on we might unleash some magic missiles. We could like throw remove magic at them, but considering that Jan's illusions level is only level 7 and they are at least level 12, it probably wouldn't be too effective at all. So let's have him do that. Now this again is our Scorcher on Falahar needs to happen, and let's just wait and see what happens here. Alright, Pitre's spell got interrupted by that again as our Scorcher, very nice, and Jaheira is still casting. I have Eri prepared for that Cone of Cold. Okay, please dispel the... Okay, so Dracandros is here, and fortunately he got affected by Insect Swarm. So I don't think I've talked much about Insect Plague, not Insect Swarm. I don't think I've really talked about this spell yet, but it's such an awesome spell. It's primarily an anti-spellcaster spell. Of course, feel free to like pause and read the description. But basically, first of all, opponents have to save against save versus breath at -4 to get rid of like most of its effects. So this is better in most cases than like a save versus spell, and this just deals so much. If someone is affected by that, they have a penalty, a -2 penalty to their attack rolls and armor class, which is okay. They also suffer quite a bit of like ticking damage in increments of 1, and also they have a 100% spell failure debuff applied to them. And also, if they don't make a saving throw versus death every round, they will run away in fear. So this is a really awesome spell. Also, it's targeted on someone, but then as you can see it spreads to nearby enemies. It's a party friendly spell on top of all that, so it's great. SCS makes this change that, as you can see by the note here, that it's going to be blocked by all the fire shield spells in the game, and I think it's good from a gameplay perspective, and it just makes sense that these like insects would get killed by the fire. Alright, so now that Pitre and Dracandros are affected by that insect plague, that means that, and as you could see, we could target Pitre, who is visible with the spell, and then it also spread onto an invisible target that we would normally not be able to target directly with Jaheira. So this is an awesome spell for so many different reasons. Yeah, Jaheira in Baldur's Gate 2 is going to be able to provide some like real support with her spells and also with her fighting ability later on. So this is cool, but that means still that Dracandros, for example, is going to still be able to unleash his different sequencers and stuff like that, because they are not affected by that 100% spell failure debuff. So we still have to be wary, and we still are going to want to target him and get rid of him immediately. Okay, now all of his illusions are dispelled, as indicated here, so his improved invisibility and his mirror images are gone, and now we're just going to attack him with pretty much everyone. Jaheira is going to try to occupy Falahar, and I think what we might do with Jan is try to stun him with some flashers. And yeah, Eri is going to try to position herself to unleash like a nice Cone of Cold. maybe from here. Yeah, he actually casts a minor sequencer with double charm against Minsk, but Minsk saved against all that. Very nice.
Yes?
I think we're going to get another, or to do another Aganazar Scorcher on both of these guys, just so Senashira can contribute with some damage. And this Cone of Cold dealt some damage to Drakandros, and now Eri can just like attack with her quarterstaff, I guess. And we're going to make Kiranai attack with her thrown daggers. Alright, and Senashira can start throwing whenever she can. Alright, this is going very well. I think his stone skins are cut through now. I think he has a contingency. Okay, he didn't even manage... That contingency didn't even manage to trigger, because I think we bursted him down so well. I think he has a contingency with stone skins, so there would be another stone skin that we would have to cut through, but I think... yeah, I don't even have to think that he is dead. He just is. That is a fact. So now Minsk can switch to his regular Lilarkor sword, and now what we're going to do is we're going to, I think, switch Kiranai to some melee stuff. So she's going to receive this scimitar from Jaheira and this dagger from Senashira, and she's going to go into melee against Pitre, because of course he reflects all ranged damage. So we're going to have Minsk and Kiranai contribute some melee damage on him. I think Jaheira is also going to switch there. Senashira is just going to try to position herself not to... Okay, that's standard in our party, damaging ourselves with Aganazar Scorcher, as usual. Eri, just stay out of it. And I didn't really pay attention if these flashers managed to stun Falahar or not. He doesn't look to be stunned. Yeah, he isn't. Anyway, now it's not really that big of a deal. Let's just maybe do a little... Whoops. Do a little magic missile on him. And I think even Eri can contribute some magic missiles on him. And now we have physical damage coming onto Pitre. And you can keep shooting with your regular crossbow shots, and you with your slingshots. Alright, Pitre is about to die, and nice, Kiranai. Now we can get Kiranai back to throw some daggers, to throw some stuff. Just rearrange stuff as we had it. And now Falahar needs to be taken care of. Just finish him off, and I guess Minsk is going to occupy Valeria's attention. Alright, all of that is done. Okay, Valeria is of course proving me wrong with her damage capabilities. She actually managed to hit Minsk 3 times in pretty quick succession for like decent damage, and she's worth a lot of experience. But yeah, that's it. This fight actually went very, very well. These guys didn't manage to like get a single spell off, which is very nice. Because now I'm going to look after playing. I'm going to look Drakandros up and see if he actually got a specialization from SCS and what spells he had in his disposal. But I think he has a big chance of being an enchanter, and that would mean that he would be loaded with like chaos spells and, you know, emotion hopelessness and stuff like that. So if he actually managed to unleash some of his regular spells, that could easily spell doom for us. Unfortunately, they don't really have anything that great when it comes to loot. I think I'm going to take that helmet. It's pretty cool looking. And then I'm going to take this large shield and this these plate armors. I think Valeria also has a plate. Yeah. We already have 2 for some like future party members on Kiranai, but I think I'm going to just keep those just for selling. I'm going to give them to Minsk, and Minsk can also get this to heal himself and regen.
What is it? Certainly.
And yeah, Drakandros just has these bracers of AC 7, I believe. Eri cannot identify them, although she has lore 34. I think Eri has the highest lore, yeah. So, not yet. But we're going to identify them later. And also there are going to be some traps to detect here. And some goodies in the form of very valuable jewelry that we can get in this building.
Tell me all about it. Yes,
I think that's it. Let's just... yeah, nothing here. And this chest I think contains, yeah, Star Sapphire and a Laurel's Tear necklace. Those are going to sell for quite a bit. And also we have some cool spells here. This can go to Minsk. Yeah, Spirit Armor, another... oh yeah, these two. And this can be held by Jaheira, and I'm going to hold on to this medium shield for an upcoming character that I'm going to have later. And yeah, haste expires just now, so everything went perfectly. Okay, now let's just explore this building. There's some stuff to steal from here, but this commoner here is going to call the guards on us. There's also some experience to be had by disarming this trap and unlocking this crate. But we're going to do what we've done in Baldur's Gate 1 sometimes. I don't enjoy doing that, but there are some decent goodies that we can take with us. So there are these 3 minor potions, but here...
yes, quickly and precisely.
she didn't call the guards yet. Okay, now. Thief! Guards are being summoned. I think there was something in here. Yes, some gems. And now we're out. And before the guards can spawn. And actually, Amnian guards are not bribable. They are just going to attack immediately. Anyway, after that cool fight, we can now get back to what we were about to do, which is doing that. We also have, well, let's finish one thing first. We have this Ankeg shell, which we are going to be able to use. And this is, you can get some Ankeg shells like way later in the game, but this is a very early, of course, you know, you can just loot that one from the container and get yourself a nice Ankeg shell, and we're going to be able to make an Ankeg armor out of it. Very early, actually, we can get a hold of that Ankeg shell. Anyway, now let's go back to what we were supposed to do, and that was investigating those local murders that Lieutenant Aegisfield told us about. And he also dropped 2 names in what he said about people that saw something and could tell us more about these murders and what's going on. So Old Rampa was one of them, and a prostitute named Rose down there is going to be another one. So let's talk with Rampa first. So we have to assure him that we're not from the guards, and he's going to be more likely to talk with us. Don't play games with me. Don't know nothing. Guards kept us away. They know all I know. That's it. But, but, I got something they don't. I got what they don't. They be blind, but I saw it, and now it's mine. What did you get, Rampa? So if we pay him 100 gold, he's going to tell us that he actually managed to obtain a piece of leather. It's not flesh, but rather leather. That he managed to get at one of the crime scenes. Alright, so thank you. He's going to give us that, and we're going to be able to talk with a certain merchant that is going to be able to tell us a little bit more about it. But first, let's talk to Rose and see what she knows. Of course, we have to pay her off also, this time 20 gold. And she's going to say that she already told everything to the guards, but she also remembers a certain smell that she managed to smell at the crime site, besides the blood. I think I smelled girl berries. Yes, that's it. Girl berries or something like it. So she's going to direct us to the merchant Bell Dalemark over here. And he's going to be a pretty knowledgeable fellow that is going to be able to tell us more about quite a few things. And before we proceed with the investigation, cool thing about him is that actually he is able to tell us a little bit more about that prison, that secret prison of the Cowled Wizards, because you know, we have the option of asking about the Cowled Wizard prison to many NPCs, but the vast majority of them in the game are not going to be able to tell us anything. They're just going to tell us that no one really knows where the Cowled Wizards take their like imprisoned mages, what they do with them, and you know, they're just very secretive. No one knows anything. But he actually is going to be able to tell us one bit of information, that apparently he's heard that the prison is off in the ocean. Apparently, according to that story he heard. And that is true. It is on an island. So he actually knows a little bit more than like 99% of people in Athkatla. Of course, he doesn't know the coordinates. And now we can actually proceed with the investigation. So let's first ask about this piece of leather that we got from Rampa. And apparently it's an elephant hide. used in the process of making some leather. Tanner might see such hide on occasion, though it would be rare. And he will direct us to the local tanner, Regik, or Rejek, or Regik, however you want to pronounce this name. I don't think anyone is going to have any complaints about me mispronouncing this one. But yeah. But also, before we do that, let's ask him about these girl berries. Apparently there are 3 smells that are very similar to each other. Girl berries, oak bark, and solic berries. So we can ask about all of them. And the reason why she knew what girl berries smell is because they are used for different salves for intimate afflictions. Oak bark is used to make tannin in the process of making like leather. And yeah, he again mentions Regik Heidsman that we might be able to contact in the Bridge District, and solic berries are used for like baking. Alright, so he's going to provide us with a sample of each for free. What a good guy. And now Rose is going to be able to have a good sniff at each of these samples. And she's, of course, as always, I'm trying not to click too quickly so that you have the opportunity to pause and read in detail about all this for yourself. And she's going to realize that it wasn't girl berries, it wasn't solic berries either, and it was a faint smell of oak bark that she smelled on, you know, while encountering one of the crime scenes there.
Yes?
Alright, so all of the clues point us to this local leather worker, Regik Heidsman.
What is it? Certainly.
Before we go there, let's just buy ourselves a gem bag here from this vendor. She has good berries that could heal us for 1 hit point each. That's a great deal. And not a waste of time at all. Nope. And she has some potions of heroism that I'm not going to get. I'm just going to get this gem bag, and this is going to be the last gem bag I'm going to carry. Generally, I like to have 2. And this 3rd one is just in case. Basically, 1 gem bag, Senashiro's one, is going to be used for our general like all of the jewelry and you know, all that stuff that we gather in the process of adventuring just for selling purposes. Kirinai's gem bag is going to be used to store situational like rings and amulets and jewelry that has some kind of a spell on it or some kind of property. So for example, once we get some more rings, and we won't really want to like have this ring of human influence on ourselves all the time, for example, we will be able to stash it into that gem bag, and whenever we want to charm someone, we might, you know, take it out of the gem bag, place it on someone, cast the charm, and then place it back into that gem bag. So it's going to be used for like situational equipment that we can store in there. And that 3rd one is going to be for like stolen jewelry, so that we know that it's going to be in a separate gem bag, you know, for whenever we encounter a fence, that we will be able to sell that stuff to. And also there's going to be like 2 times in the game, I think, where we're going to receive a large stack of a certain jewel, and it wouldn't really fit most likely into our primarily like gem bag. And we could use the 2nd one for that reason, but, you know, just for, I might have 3, maybe I'm going to get rid of it. It's nice to have containers, you know, to be able to organize everything nicely. Anyway, here's the tanner shop, so let's pay Regik a visit.
I'm sorry, I am closed at the moment. Come back when I have replenished my stock.
Why are you closed? Hiding something, are you? I don't know what you're getting at. So let's ask him about the murders. And let's mention our clues. The elephant hide and tannin were found where people died.
I see. You have gathered this evidence?
I love the way he talks. I see. You have gathered this evidence? Yes. Anyway, it's funny, isn't it? A simple piece of leather and a whiff of tannin. If my leather had not been torn, I would not have worn the new armor. No tear would have meant no smell. So yeah, apparently a piece of his leather armor got torn off at one crime scene, and then he made a new armor for himself, which then exuded this like fresh armor smell. Evil bastard, you'll be swinging from the gallows if I don't kill you first. No, I cannot allow that. You cannot understand. My work, my craft has only one place left to go, and you must not stop it. So apparently he's working on a pretty important project. And we get a bit of experience already for discovering who the murderer was. And there is a lesser known outcome that we could go for, although I'm not going to. But since we have already discovered who the murderer is, we could report right now to Lieutenant Aegisfield and leave the rest to the local guard. But then later on we would discover that Lieutenant Aegisfield would be missing, and we would be able to find his body. And basically later on we could bring this body to one Inspector Brega to get a reward, but that's not really a good outcome. We're not really going to do that. Of course, the first instinct is to pursue Regic downstairs.
I await your need.
So here Jahira warns us that this place might be trapped, judging from, you know, all of the corpses and stuff laying around.
You need something?
And also Eri has a comment about the stench of death, and she hates it here with all of these, like, probably some of them are like skinned, and a terrible place. But yeah, this this floor is heavily trapped. And I think a really nice little touch is that Regic is here, and like he went all the way around to reach the stairs, because this way is more heavily trapped. Of course, this trap, you know, no matter how you approach the stairs, you would get affected by this one. But since Regic plays these traps probably, and then he knows how to avoid it. But it's a cool little touch done on purpose, I think, that he goes like the long way around to avoid most of the traps. Anyway, we also can disarm some here. This container over here is empty, but we can get some goodies from this bed. Oh yeah, now we have containers for everything. We can nicely store our gear. We have a special note here that I'm going to inspect in a second, where it's going to make more sense. And also one piece of loot that you can easily miss is underneath this bed. As you can see, it didn't highlight when we use tab, but the cursor changes here. And we can actually search underneath the bed to receive a leather armor of a very special kind. This is basically a flesh armor made from skin. And it's something generally that evil parties could engage more into. I'm not going to do the whole quest line because it would involve us having to do a lot of evil deeds, but I am going to hold on to it for a little while to progress a certain conversation a little bit further. So since Eri loved this place so much, here, keep this skin armor. And also I get a protection from electricity scroll. And now we're going to pre-buff. Again, because downstairs a fight awaits us, and it can be really dangerous for some particular members of ours, because primarily there's going to be two rune assassins, which are very dangerous backstabbers. They have ×4 backstab, and we also cannot use invisibility against them to like get someone out of trouble, because they actually see invisible. So that is not going to save us, a potion of invisibility, and I'm even thinking about not even bringing Karen and I over, because they will likely not miss even with this -7 armor class. And, well, I should bring everyone, of course, but there is a chance that someone will like permanently die, get chunked by their backstabs, actually.
Yes.
So I am going to... oh yeah, your shield dissipated. Actually, instead of shield, let's use Jahira's bark skin. Oh no, you still have shield. What am I even talking about? Jahira, well, already started casting, so mistake. But you are going to get ourselves some mirror images. Actually, Jan can use this blur.
Yes.
And Eri has a blur as well. Oh, Jahira doesn't have iron skins anymore. Those iron skins got spent during that last fight. Actually, I think Jahira is going to use the defensive harmony a little bit into the fight because it's a short-lasting buff. And here we're just going to bless up and chant up. And that's going to be it. And Minsk, what do you have? You have this armor of faith that's going to provide a little bit of mitigation for you. Yeah, let's use chant here. Oh, and Senshira also is going to use these Melf's Minute Meteors, because there's going to be a certain opponent downstairs, a bone golem, that requires a magical weapon to be hurt, and her normal thrown daggers wouldn't be able to do anything. She only managed to conjure 5 projectiles because it's dependent on her level, and she is still a low-level mage. Also, I know we have this Find Familiar. We're going to take care of that in a second. But Melf's Minute Meteors, actually an SCS component, nerfs this spell a little bit, because normally in the unmodded game it was considered a +5 enchanted weapon, which made it a little bit too powerful for a level 3 spell. I guess it still retains the +5 bonus to the attack rolls, and it you know, gives the wizard like a really nice chance to hit, many attacks per round, and also the ability to inflict not only physical damage but also fire damage. And in SCS they are considered a +2 enchanted weapon, so it makes a little bit more sense for a level 3 spell, and they are still a very, very good spell. And as you could see many times from enemy mages, they are very often pre-buffed with these, and they can actually interrupt casters that don't have like mirror images but only stone skin, for example. But anyway, when in the unmodded game they were considered a +5 spell, they were just so amazing. I think on my first playthrough ever of Baldur's Gate 2 when I was a kid, I really had a difficult time dealing with a certain form of a certain opponent that required a very high enchanted weapons to deal with, and I don't think I've had any at that point. And then I actually discovered the power of Melf's Minute Meteors, and I managed to defeat that enemy with my mages throwing the Minute Meteors at him, and because they were considered a +5 weapon. Anyway, I think this is as buffed up as we can be, so hopefully it all goes well. Because as it is sometimes the case with, you know, with Baldur's Gate, sometimes fights that are dangerous go very easily. You know, we either have a one-sided win or a one-sided loss. So hopefully, you know, we're going to have a nice little win here. I'm going to have Jaheira go over here to block this passage because I think one of the ruined assassins starts out from here. We're going to try and maybe get them out of stealth with Kiranai, but it's likely not going to work. They're probably going to reveal themselves through backstabs before we are able to dispel them. There are 2 ghasts right now, but more opponents are going to show up, and we have this mage here, which is going to initiate a conversation. So no matter what we tell here, he's just going to teleport out, and this fight is going to happen. But yeah, apparently Regic is really working on a grand task because his work must continue, as he says. There will be no mercy for this villain or his allies. Yeah, we have interrupted Regic's work, and our skins shall be the means for that work to continue. Anyway, he, at the end of every conversation option like that you do, he's going to reveal his name, Velindan. And he's going to teleport out, and his name matters in the context of this note, where some of these evildoers wanted to in a very secretive manner contact each other. So apparently there's one of them that sent this letter to Velindan for Velindan to seek him out in Imnisvale, in the village in Umar Hills. And apparently the process that they could identify each other with would be for Velindan to purchase the History of the Zentarim book from that guy, and then basically introduce himself like replacing the different letters, arranging them according to these instructions. And according to these, we will receive the name Darsin Cole that we will have to introduce ourselves with, and we actually are going to be able to like trick that supposed merchant into thinking that we are his contact. So we will have to buy the History of the Zentarim for him, and then he's going to initiate this conversation. Anyway, let's get on with the fight. Yeah. First, let's quickly dispose of these 2 ghasts, because they, of course, still have the chance to paralyze us. But I'm not going to use the Minute Meteors. And you know, I think I'm even going to forego the detecting traps, although there is actually a trick that I can show off here. Normally, as you can see, if you're using your like thieving skills, find traps here that also detects illusion. If you order your thief to do anything else, it stops detecting traps. But if you already ordered them to attack and then use detect traps, she is actually going to be able to detect illusion while attacking. So it's a pretty cool trick. Alright, she managed to of course add meaningful damage and get this ghast. Also, I think I'm going to already cast Slow over here preemptively to hopefully get some of these runes assassins. Maybe we'll be able to slow one of them at least. And yeah, Jan is going to wait with his flashers until they reveal themselves.
Nature's
And
search.
Jahira, can you do anything? Oh yeah, you can do that defensive harmony to increase our armor class even further. Perhaps these Ruined Assassins are going to miss their backstabs. That's what we're counting for. Yeah, so he teleports out. Okay, defensive harmony went out, and here's that bone golem. We're going to throw some... Actually, you know, I think I'm even going to keep these minute meteors for the assassins. So let's just deal with this ghast. Okay, that's cool. One of these ruined assassin got slowed. The other one saved versus spell. So now we have to...
Yes. If that's
Maybe you can detect them. Alright, so they do attack Kirinai. 35 damage with this quadruple damage backstab. So we are going to immediately heal her, so that this situation doesn't get out of hand, especially since they have some invisibility potions and they are going to keep
yes.
like re-stealthing and doing backstabs, so we need to use all of our burst damage. Okay, he didn't re-stealth, he just kept fighting toe to toe. That's very nice, that's very nice. And the other one is still slowed and still didn't get to his target, I guess, and didn't reveal himself. So let's attack this bone golem.
I'm whatever
Feel
you
the
decide.
He's not too dangerous of an opponent, but he requires magical weapons. And now 46 damage again to Kirinai from this other Ruined Assassin. So we're going to immediately switch everyone to this Ruined Assassin and try to just
More exciting than any circus.
get him
Yeah.
before he can deal any more damage to Kirinai. Because I don't want to lose anyone. Okay, he did re-stealth. And Kirinai is going to try to run. Not... don't touch that crate, it's trapped. I like misclicked, and hopefully maybe we can trap him here. And even like have Ari or Jan. He might be here since Jahira is like twitching like that. Okay, he revealed himself. I think he missed a backstab on someone. And that's cool. You know, the real danger here is with our Kensai ladies. Like, they really targeted Kirinai, and they, of course, since she has a Kensai, she doesn't wear a helmet, they can crit with these time 4 backstabs, and I've seen them do like over 80 damage in one hit, and that can be really dangerous. Of course, just don't go there all the way, just free up some space here. Oh yeah, and we'll have to use magical weapons against him, so we might engage him in melee, I guess. Because this is pretty much it. We are done with this fight. The Ruined Assassins are by far the most dangerous, although this Bone Golem, of course, gives us a large chunk of experience, as if he was the main threat. Anyway, let's disarm some traps. Whoa, I almost misclicked and
Yes, certainly.
looted that chest and not disarmed it.
But as a sword, I'm pretty one-dimensional in what I want.
Yes, we know, Lilarkor. You want to kill. You just, you know, took part in some killing. You should be satisfied for at least a little while. So anyway, Regic here apparently escaped via boat. And we don't know where he, you know, managed to escape to. But our job is done for now. We did manage to discover who the murderer was. And we managed to stop his activities in the Bridge District. So he was forced to flee, and at least for the immediate future, that threat is dealt with. So we get quite a few nice potions from these Ruined Assassins. We get some short swords +1 to sell, we get improved invisibility and monster summoning, and we also get this short bow shaft. And this is a part of an artifact that or an item that we're going to be able to craft with the help of Cromwell, a dwarven smith in the Docks district. We also need a string for this belt, for this bow, that we're going to obtain later. So now let's have Eri hold on to it, and that is it.
Quickly
So
and
just to conclude this whole investigation, I know we are over time, but since the last episode was, you know, without too much action, let's have, you know, this episode make up for that a little bit. And now we can report to Lieutenant Aegisfield that the Bridge District should be safe now,
must be done.
with the murderer gone. Yeah, we have exposed the evil bastard. It was Regic Heidsman. And we had these evidence. Sounds like you did some excellent work. I am grateful. We're short on men to investigate crimes where the poor suffer. You will be well liked around here. And that means that we're going to soon receive a +1 reputation as part of our rewards. Yeah, and he's also going to give us some gold. I'll have the guard try and spot Regic, but who knows what he will do. I thank you again. There is going to be a follow-up to Regic and his schemes a little bit later. This is not the end. We will be able to finally stop him at a later point in the game. So we get 45,000 experience, +1 reputation, and 500 gold. That's pretty nice. And on this nice note, let us finish this episode. I thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed it. There was a little bit more action in it, and I'll see you on the next one.